And as we usually do, we have a group of WYEP supporters joining us here today. I'm Rosemary, and we're thrilled to be able to bring this band in for you today. Now, they're not playing in town tonight, but I think after you hear them today, you're going to know that when they do come back, you are going to buy your tickets early because you don't want to be left outside wishing you were inside. It's Brigitte Calls Me Baby on WYEP.
All right. Dreaming again, dreaming of you. We went out to the bars, the streets were ours. We danced again to the sea of love. It was almost the same, no bullet in your brain. We looked for nobody else, and no one was there. We danced again to the sea of love. Then you walked out and made me fall awake. If I had it my way, I'd die, and with you I'd stay. Bad since you've been gone. I'm slowly going mad, but it's okay. You and I will be together if there's an afterlife. And you walked out and made me fall awake. If I had it my way, I'd die.
We're live here on 91.3 WYEP with Brigitte Calls Me Baby, a band that is popping up all over the place right now, getting a lot of media attention, so that is a very good thing. The first album is called This House is Made of Corners, just coming out. When you're heading into the studio for the first time, it's that initial album. You want to make a good impact. And do you feel that, are you exhilarated about it, maybe a little intimidated, especially when you're going into the studio with a storied producer like Dave Cobb?
Definitely excited to have done that. And no, not much intimidation, but there was definitely a lot of growth, I feel like, in the process, because a good producer pushes you out of your comfort zone. And that occurred, at least with me, because I singing everything like live and trying to get as much in one take as you can and things like that were important to Dave, and have become important to me.
You said, a good producer pushes you out of your comfort zone. And, you hear stories about how, if in any part of life, if you want to grow, you have to kind of push yourself. Does an audience ever get to the point where they can push you out of a comfort zone? Have you ever been in front of an audience where you're thinking, okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but I got to work with this?
Yes.
Can you give us a little insight into that?
Well, uh, I think you get a lot when people give a lot. So if you aren't getting much, it's harder to give, but you still have to because that's what we're supposed to do. That's the idea. But it's always the give and take thing. If you receive something, it's easier to give it. Kind of fuels you. So it can be difficult when you're not getting much, but thankfully, lately we've been getting more.
There's probably a give and take that way. So going back to Dave Cobb, this is a guy that he's produced so many records over the years. He's worked with so many people. Did you have songs planned and then you went in there and he said, well, I got a different idea about this. How did it work?
I don't think I've ever said this, but basically I was working with Dave on a movie that he was doing the soundtrack for, and he and I were talking about music that we're into, and we got along really well. And then he was like, do you have songs? And I said yes, and I didn't. At least anything that I was super ready to send, So I thought, well, now I have to write something, and that actually in one day there were 3 songs that were written. It was You Were Only Made of Dreams, Eddie My Love, and one more I can't remember, and that was the first batch of songs that I sent him, and he said, great, do you have any more?
It sounds like you put yourself in a position to be pushed out of the comfort zone.
Well, I knew I wanted to work with him, and I knew that, like I said, I had songs, but I wasn't really anything that I wanted to send, So I was like, I gotta figure this out, and that informed, I think, what is now the album that will be out soon. So, I'm glad it went that way in hindsight.
Now, you just kind of casually said, well, I was working with Dave on a movie. It wasn't just any movie. You were talking about the Baz Luhrmann film, the Elvis film. That's a pretty major movie. And how do you end up getting roped into that? I know you toured as Elvis, but a lot of people toured as Elvis. There's a lot of Elvis impersonators out there. There was obviously something that Baz heard in you and pulled you into this.
Yeah, I did when I was in high school, there was like a show in New York that was about, Sun Records and the history of music in Memphis, and did that, and I believe that's how Baz heard about me and asked that I come and work on the music for the movie. So, that's my recollection of how it went.
So Baz just calls you out of nowhere?
He did, yeah.
I mean, did you think it was a joke like, yeah, okay, this is Baz Luhrmann?
Well, there was no, warning or anything, so I just saw a number and picked it up.
I've never had that experience. I've picked up numbers, but they were never Baz Luhrmann, so you have a little bit better luck than me on this one. So the $1 Million Quartet, that was what you were involved with. Now, I want to make sure I get all the names right. So this was Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis. So they were the 4 guys in that quartet. And they were, we think of them now as legendary, but they were just young guys that were trying to make it in the music industry at that point in time. When you tour, I think it was like 6 months or something, do you get to a point where you start to realize, I'm not much different than those guys. They're not much different from me. Does that help you as you start looking forward to your career?
Yeah, in a way, but also, in that case, these are pretty larger than life characters, so it's, you feel quite different, you know. At least I did. So maybe in a way, but ultimately that experience is something that maybe was necessary but wasn't quite enjoyable for me.
Wow, we certainly feel like, seeing you on stage now, that's you've got something out of that, and I know that people want to hear more of that. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the influences because it's obvious. The Elvis is obvious, but there are other things that when I listen to your music, it's like I hear a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but when you mix it all together, it's Brigitte Calls Me Baby. So can you do a couple more tunes here on WYEP?
Sure.
Eddie, my love, friends don't interact the way we've been acting lately. And if my will was strong and thoughts still paid my brain, curiosity drive me insane. No, I thought I knew me, but I didn't know myself. You saw right through me, and truth was I never felt so hard. And you've been so hard to get in touch with. Why don't you leave my heart alone? And if you get the time, would you call me, would you call me, would you call me? Oh, no, I thought I knew me, but I didn't know myself. You saw right through me, and truth was I never felt so hard. Eddie, my love, Eddie, my love, Eddie, my love, love, Eddie, my love. Friends don't interact the way we've been acting lately. And if my will was strong, you never came around, made my heart feel alive. I thought I knew me, but I didn't know myself. You saw right through me, and truth was I never felt so hard, so hard. When the blossom falls on me, truth you see is lost. Friends and all reality don't mean nothing to me. It's us. Oh.
This is palm of your hand.
Sometimes I listen to you talk, sometimes I don't listen at all. If everything you said was if you'd wait, it would likely be too late, and we could miss our chance to fall. Oh, catch me if you can. I wanna know the feeling in the palm of your hand, the palm of your hand. Help me understand. I wanna know love's real, and the palm of your hand, the palm of your hand. Sometimes I wait around a tree, sometimes I swear you wait for me. I swear I'm not a narcissist, but I am so hard to resist. And you know that the distance isn't far to get to where you already are. You think you've got so far to go, you think you're so unlovable. True, they say everyone will go to waste. I will have no sense at all. But if you'd wait, it would likely be too late. We could miss our chance to fall. Oh, catch me if you can. I wanna know the feeling in the palm of your hand, the palm of your hand. Help me understand. I wanna know love's real, and the palm of your hand, the palm of your hand.
It's WYEP, and we're live with Brigitte Calls Me Baby. Now, the new album, This House is Made of Corners. Wes, a little earlier you mentioned this is just about to be released?
Well, this is what's out is an EP and then an album next. So yeah.
Something to look forward to. And I assume that you're going to be touring back through whenever you have a new album out. That's what you do.
Certainly.
I mean, you guys are getting used to it now. You know, you're showing up on all the morning shows, and that's always really fun for a band to get up bright and early in the morning, get out there and show the world what you got. So it's very obvious to me certain influences and how they come through your music, like the Smiths. There are just times where I just hear that and I can think, I almost feel like I can hear Morrissey's voice. Tell me about the bands that influence you most, that whether or not it's in your music, you really feel like there's something about that band that inspired you to do what you're doing.
Well, there's I've said it a few times, and it's certainly true. There's something that happened in my life when I was young that I'm very thankful for, which is being exposed to a lot of different music at once, and it I think caused me to have an open mind as to where maybe I wouldn't have if I hadn't been. So I definitely remember times when in the same weekend I'd be with friends and we liked, Strokes and Arctic Monkeys. I'd be at my grandma's the next day listening to Roy Orbison, and then my parents, they were into stuff like Depeche Mode and bands like that. So it was like a lot of things at once. My brothers were into hip hop, and I think when you are exposed to all these different things, somewhere in the middle of it, you find yourself. And that's certainly what happened for me. When all these sounds are coming at you and you have a respect and appreciation for all of them, it's initially maybe difficult to figure out, well, what do I sound like? How do I write? What do I say? And then eventually it's a kind of second nature. You don't really have to ask the question, because if you write it, you feel it, it's you, you know.
Well, you started writing when you were 13, and I think, I don't know what your songs were like then, but I know anything that I've written.
Terrible.
Because you don't really know yet, but that's you start. You have to start somewhere. I read somewhere that you learn who you are and what you think by just getting out there and starting to write, and that will take you to where you should be. And in some of these songs, what I'm hearing, you did one song. It's like the Eddie My Love song, where you're saying I thought I know who I was, but I didn't. And the next song, I'm so hard to resist. I'm not a narcissist, but I'm so hard to resist. So there's these two very different, polarized parts of you. Is identity an important part of you creating music?
Yeah, and being in touch with it too, and knowing that, most people are a contradiction, including myself. You might feel one way at one point. Odds are that may change, and I think as long as you're in touch with where you are at the moment, it's the most important thing. You don't have to think about what to say. You just say what you feel. That's where it's at now. There's not really a lot of overthinking. It's just, what do I want to say, and then how do I say it, and how do I make it sound good?
Well, I'm going to admit here that I'm very curious about who you were growing up, because I've seen some things and I just think, what 13-year-old boy in Port Arthur, Texas, knows who somebody like Brigitte Bardot is? Like, that kind of blows my mind. Can you tell us a little bit? I mean, because that's how the band came to get its name, but the story itself, I think, is an amazing story, and it really makes me curious about who you are.
Well, Port Arthur is a place where there's nothing to do except, I think about getting out of there. And so it's easy to daydream and, romanticize ideas, and certainly look to other creative people and see how they made things happen. And the world feels very, very, very large when you're in an area like that, because not only is it smaller, but there's nothing going on. It's a place that you go to die, really. But the Brigitte Bardot thing was just, I remember seeing her image and thinking how striking it was. And then eventually when, at a point in high school when we had like an English assignment to write to a notable person, and people were writing, someone wrote to Bill Gates and asked for an Xbox, and he sent one. So I thought, well, who do I want to write to? And I thought, I'm going to see if Brigitte Bardot's still alive. And she was. So I wrote to her and didn't receive anything for a while, got a little discouraged, and then eventually received something because she was in Paris, so it took a while to get to Texas. And I received a letter, and we kept in touch briefly for a few months, and that was that.
I'm really impressed that a teenage kid would reach out to Brigitte Bardot. I think that's really cool, and it really makes me wonder about, what you were exposed to culturally. I mean, we've talked musically, what you were exposed to. It sounds to me like maybe film, and you must have some pretty cool people in your life.
Yeah, I think so. And some not, but the ones that were, I tried to hang around more.
And you did get out of Port Arthur, which, by the way, is where Janis Joplin also escaped from. Yeah. I understand your grandmother went to school with her.
She did, yeah. They graduated together.
That's pretty wild. And then you end up in Chicago with these guys. And we should, before we do anything else, we should at least acknowledge these other folks here. And
we should.
identify
Actually,
who's here with you.
I think if I can get this off, everyone should say their name.
Hey, everybody, I'm Jack. Hi, Pittsburgh. I'm Trevor. Hey.
This is Devin.
I'm Devin.
It's not going to reach you, Jeremy. This is Jeremy.
Jeremy's hiding behind there on the drums. Thank you,
Silent
Jeremy.
Romeo.
And I know that at the end of today, you're going to be heading back home to, which is now Chicago, a little bit bigger than Port Arthur. Dreams can grow there. So if we could get another song from Brigitte Calls Me Baby, we will all be very happy here at WYEP.
Oh, don't you sit there looking at me while I'm looking at you, 'cause I don't know what you want me to do. The conversation's easier said than done, and it was better when it was gone. What goes around must come around, so when I go I'll come around again. I am only human, but I'm capable of the things that you thought weren't capable. The conversation's easier said than done. The temptation better if it was gone. What goes around must come around, so when I go I'll come around again. Oh, my heart is numb. My head is numb. Oh my God, I am home. Multiply the things you thought you wanted when you were young and thought that you had fallen. Now I'm all you want and your blood is clotted. You can fall asleep 'cause your dreams are haunted. What goes around must come around, and when I'm dead I'll be back again. I am only human, but I'm capable of the things that you thought weren't capable. The conversation's easier said than done, and it was better when it was gone. What goes around must come around, so when I go I'll be back again. Oh, my heart is numb. Oh, my head is numb. Oh my God, I am home. Oh, my heart is numb. Oh, my head is numb. Oh my God, oh my God, I am home. Oh my God, I am home.
Thank you.
That is Brigitte Calls Me Baby, and watch for the new album, This House is Made of Corners, and watch whenever they come back through again, because I know you guys are going to play town again, and you will be more than welcome here, but I hope you have a safe trip going back to Chicago. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.